Good morning. Welcome back. Uh, Today discussing a derivation on the Langevins classical theory of diamagnetism. Langevins classical theory of diamagnetism. So in order to derive an expression, we now consider an electron which is revolving around the nucleus. I will write, and this is the spherical orbit of the electron, and here we have the nucleus. This is the nucleus, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus, right? And let E is charge of the electron and m is its mass. Let E is the charge and m is the mass of the electron. Because the electron is revolving around the nucleus, it gives rise to what is known as a current loop. It gives rise to a current loop. In the sense, it produces a current. That is proportional to E into nu, where nu is called frequency. Instead of writing F, we are writing nu. The current produced by the electron, because of its motion around the nucleus, results in a current, and that is proportional to E into nu, where E is charge of the electron and nu is the frequency with which the electron is revolving around the nucleus in this orbit. Let omega is the angular frequency of the electron, or in other words, the angular velocity of the electron. We know that omega equals 2 pi f. We know that omega equals 2 pi f, or in other words, 2 pi nu in this case, 2 pi nu. Therefore, nu will be equal to omega by 2 pi. Therefore, this I equals minus E nu become equal to minus E into omega by 2 pi. Now, the magnetic moment of the electron as it is revolving around the nucleus is mu m, and that is equal to I into A, the product of current and the area of cross section, this total area. And this total area of circle is pi r square, and therefore it is I into pi r square. And therefore mu m will be equal to I into A. We know I is equal to E omega by 2 pi into area. Pi gets cancelled over here. Therefore we get minus half E omega square. This is mu m, the magnetic moment of the electron revolving around the nucleus. Let a magnetic induction is applied to this atom, or in other words, let this atom consisting of nucleus and an electron revolving around it is kept in a magnetic field B, because of which the lines of force will be passing through, and let phi represent the flux. Then, according to Lenz's law, the flux enclosed by the loop at any instant of time is given by the line integral of E dot dl, that will be equal to minus d phi by dt according to Lenz's law. It is the line integral of dot product of E and dl will be equal to negative of the rate of change of magnetic flux. Now, for an electron revolving in circular orbit, dl is equal to the circumference of the circle, that will be equal to 2 pi r. This is equal to circumference of the circle, right? Therefore, the electric field is equal to minus 1 by 2 pi r into d phi by dt. This is the electric field. And the magnetic flux is B equals phi by A. The magnetic induction B equals flux per unit area, that is equal to phi by pi r square. We know that A is equal to pi r square. Or this can be rewritten as phi is equal to pi r square into B. Pi r square into B. Differentiating this, we get d phi by dt is equal to pi r square is constant into dB by dt. This is what we have written here. d phi by dt equals pi r square into dB by dt. So substituting this d phi by dt in this relation, we get E equals minus 1 by 2 pi r into pi r square into dB by dt. Pi r gets cancelled with respect to this, and therefore E is equal to minus r by 2 into dB by dt. This is the value of electric field E. Force on an electron while it is in the varying electric field is, when an electron is kept in a varying electric field, then F is equal to minus E into E. Therefore minus of minus becomes plus. It is E into R by 2 into dB by dt. This is the force acting on the electron when it is in the varying electric field. And this force makes the electron accelerate. And that is given by, according to classical mechanics, we know that according to Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to dP by dt, the rate of change of momentum. Or in other words, this implies F into dt is equal to dP. F into dt equals dP, or that will be equal to d of P is the momentum, that is the product of mass and velocity. Here m is considered as constant. Mass of the electron is assumed to be constant. Therefore it is m into dV. F into dt will be equal to m into dV, where v is the linear velocity of the electron and m is its mass. Therefore F into dt equals m into dV. But we also know that omega equals V by R. Or V equals R omega. Or in other words, dV equals R into d omega. So instead of dV, we have written R into d omega. But F into dt in the previous slide is this. It is ER by 2 into dB by dt. According to classical mechanics, F into dt is mr into dW by or d omega by dt. dt gets cancelled over here. R gets cancelled. The things remaining is E by 2m into dB. d omega is therefore equal to E by 2m into dB. This is d omega. A small angular velocity due to the small magnetic field. Total angular velocity due to the total magnetic field applied is obtained by integrating between the limits omega naught and omega. Omega naught is the initial frequency and omega is the final frequency, the angular frequency. So integrating this, we get in the next slide. We have integrated and substituted the upper and lower limits of integration, that is omega minus omega naught, that is equal to E by 2m into b. or omega equals omega naught plus E by 2m into B, where omega naught is the angular frequency or angular velocity when B is equal to 0, when there is no field. In the presence of the field, the total angular velocity is omega equals omega naught plus E by 2m into B, or it is omega naught plus omega L. This term is rewritten as omega L, where omega L is called Larmor angular frequency, and that will be equal to E by 2m into B. E by 2m into B. Thus, the introduction of magnetic field changes the angular velocity, or in other words, the angular frequency, and hence the magnetic moment. Right? Before the introduction of magnetic field, that is when B is equal to 0, omega equals omega naught. In the sense, this is the initial angular velocity when B is equal to 0. When B is not equal to 0, omega will be equal to omega naught plus omega L. When a magnetic field is applied, this is the total angular frequency. Hence, due to the application of magnetic field, the angular velocity changes from omega naught to this. Hence, magnetic moment also changes because magnetic moment depends on angular velocity, omega. Therefore, mu m equals, as we know, it is minus half E omega r square that we have studied in the previous slides. Therefore, that is equal to minus half E into r square into omega is this, omega naught plus omega L, when B not equal to 0. Or rewriting this, we get minus half E r square into omega naught plus omega L is E by 2m into B. So simplifying, we get this is equal to minus half E r square omega naught minus E square r square by 4m into B. This is taken as equal to mu naught, and this is taken as mu induced. Mu naught is minus half E r square by minus half E r square omega naught is mu naught, and mu induced is minus E square r square by 4m into B, and this is mu m. And mu induced is the induced magnetic dipole moment because of the presence of external magnetic field B. If there is no B, there is no mu induced, only mu naught will be there. Negative sign indicates that the magnetic moment opposes the externally applied field B. If we consider an element having n number of dipoles, in the sense n number of atoms, each atom is considered as a dipole. Therefore, n multiplied by mu induced will be equal to, we are multiplying n on both sides of this equation. N into mu induced is equal to, multiply this by n and also this by n. On the RHS, we are multiplying n to both the terms. Therefore, we get n mu induced is equal to minus n E square r square by 4m into B. So this is only n into mu induced, not mu m. We are multiplying to n into mu induced. Therefore, n into mu induced will be equal to n into this. Therefore, that will be equal to minus n E square r square by 4m into, instead of B, we are writing it as mu into h. Also, this n into mu induced will be equal to m. Therefore, this term will be equal to m. Where m is called the induced magnetization. But m by h is called susceptibility, represented by psi. susceptibility. Therefore, susceptibility psi is equal to m by h, that is equal to minus n e square r square by 4 m multiplied by mu, or that will be equal to minus n e square into mu naught mu r square by 4m, where mu is equal to mu naught into mu r. This is the permeability, and this is the permeability of free space, and this is the relative permeability. This is permeability of a medium. Now, usually the atoms or the orbits of all the atoms are circular, generally. For spherical symmetry of an atom, Rx, Ry, Rz represent the radii of the atom along x, y, z axis respectively. Therefore, the average radii of the orbit is r naught square is equal to rx square plus ry square plus rz square. Usually in case of spherical symmetry, rx square will be equal to ry square, that will be equal to rz square. They are equal because of the symmetry, spherical symmetry, and that will be therefore equal to r naught square by 3. If r is the average radius of an atom, if this is the average radius of an atom, then Rx and Ry are related as. See how they are related. R square is equal to Rx square plus Ry square. Not considering Z. We are considering only two axes. If that is the case, then this becomes 2 into r naught square by 3. Since each is equal to r naught square by 3, we have two terms. This is equal to r naught square by 3 plus this is equal to r naught square by 3. Therefore, that becomes equal to 2 r naught square by 3. Therefore, xi equals minus n e square mu naught mu r instead of, so it was like this, mu is equal to, xi equals minus n e square mu naught mu r by 4m into r square. Instead of r square, we have 2 r naught square by 3. Instead of this, we are substituting, therefore not this. Therefore, this becomes a minus n e square mu naught mu r naught square whole divided by 2 into 3, 6m. This is the susceptibility of the diamagnetic material. Now, knowing the values, we can find out the susceptibility of diamagnetic material. We know m, mass of the electron, that is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. The radius of the orbit, that is 0.1 nanometer. Number of atoms per cubic meter is 5 into 10 power 28. The charge of the electron is this, mu r is equal to 1, and xi will be equal to therefore minus 2.946 into 10 power minus 6, and it is in the order of 10 power minus 6. Therefore, the susceptibility of diamagnetic materials is in the order of 10 power minus 6 that we have already studied during while studying the properties of diamagnetic materials. Whereas the experimental value of susceptibility of copper is this. This is about the Langevins classical theory of diamagnetic materials. Thank you.